Building self-awareness is critical in leaders. We know self-awareness is a foundation of emotional intelligence, and emotional intelligence is a real characteristic of any successful leader. So there are a number of ways you can look at self-awareness, but what I wanted to do is just show you a model that might start to point you in some of the areas where you can look to build that, and probably in a safe way. So when we look at this model here, with the objective at the top that self-awareness is what we're looking for, I think where people tend to start is they tend to look for feedback on their capability. You ask your boss, how you're doing, maybe you get asked to do 360 feedback questionnaires. And the challenge with starting there with self-awareness is that you're basically above that line, the red line you can see here, in the kind of land of right or wrong, good or bad. When you're asking somebody for feedback on, whether you're good at your job, whether you're competent, although still very useful, it is quite challenging for somebody with low self-awareness to take that feedback that might not always be positive. So as I said, this is a bit of a safe place to start. So the way to combat that is maybe to just to park that for now and maybe look towards the bottom. And there's a whole bunch of areas you can start to look at yourself in, to start to think about, where can I start to get a bit more feedback in terms of building my self-awareness. The obvious place to start is around your personality. So, trying to understand a little bit more about, what is your personality? How does that play out with other people? How does it compare to other people's? Where does it work for you and work against you? Once you move past things like personality, you can start to look at your strengths and your weaknesses. Again, there's clues there about what that means for you and why you do the things you do. And then you sort of look at your motivators. What motivates you? Why do you want to do the things that you do? How is that different to everybody else? And you can probably see a theme here. Is when you start to do this, you not just think about yourself. You also start to recognise that other people are different, and that's a really key element of self-awareness that obviously then leads into emotional intelligence. But even beyond that, you can start to look at your beliefs, and we know that your beliefs drive your behaviours. So what kind of behaviours do you tend to play out in the workplace? How do you choose to behave? Is that serving you well? And I think that the great thing with all that stuff under there, and as I said, this is a safe model, is that there's no good or bad in there. It's just about exploring how we're different. That's where a lot of profiling, lots of psychometric, psychological profiling lives. That all of those things can be profiled. So that's another way to accelerate your kind of self-awareness in those areas. So look for feedback for those things. Look for mentors and coaches that can help you explore that, and really start to get deeper in yourself. And what you find is, as your self-awareness grows and you move through those areas, you get to the point where there's kind of almost no more to gain. So you will then actively seek out that capability, competency feedback that can be so difficult in the beginning, because almost as there's nowhere else to go now. That's the logical next place. But you want to go there from a position of confidence, because your self-awareness is higher than being forced there when maybe you're not quite ready for that difficult part of the journey. So just to say, a simple idea on how to start to build your self-awareness, really critical foundation for emotional intelligence. Recommend you look into some profiling to sort of help you accelerate that. If you have people around you that can give you feedback, that can coach you around those things as well, all the better. Good luck.